Look, if you're an older gentleman and you masturbate, honestly, I've got something I need to ask you. Have you ever found yourself wondering, maybe late at night or just in a quiet moment, if it's actually healthy for you now that you're past 50 or 60? Or perhaps, and this is completely understandable, you've had this private little worry nagging at you, a fear that you might be doing some kind of unseen damage? Well, if any of that rings true, please know this. You are absolutely not alone in thinking that. Truthfully, this whole subject is just wrapped up in layers of confusion, some really outdated myths that just won't die, and frankly, a noticeable lack of clear, reliable information that you can actually trust. It's one of those incredibly common concerns for guys in their mature years, yet it's rarely spoken about openly, which really doesn't help anyone. And honestly, after sifting through the data that is out there, it's no wonder there's so much uncertainty floating around. You see, studies consistently show that while a solid majority of men over 60 do continue to practice self-pleasure, a good number of them are essentially doing it in the dark, unsure about the real, tangible effects it might be having on their hormones, their prostate health, or even their performance when they're with a partner. So, that's precisely why today we need to cut through the noise and just have an honest, straightforward, science-based conversation about it. I'm going to walk you through, step by step, 10 pretty surprising benefits that masturbation can offer maturity, and then, crucially, 10 potential risks you genuinely need to be aware of to make sure your practice stays healthy and positive. Okay, let's start with the good news, the upside. First off, it actually helps maintain penile health. Think about it. The simple act of achieving an erection naturally increases blood flow into those spongy tissues of the penis, known medically as the corpora cavernosa. You can sort of think of it like a form of physical therapy, really. This regular exercise, this blood flow, helps keep the tissue elastic and flexible, which is absolutely crucial for both achieving and then sustaining firmer erections as you get older. It's like keeping things in working order. Second, and this is a big one that often surprises people, it actively promotes prostate health. Multiple large-scale, reputable studies, including a landmark one that came out of Harvard University, have clearly linked a higher frequency of ejaculation with a significantly lower risk of eventually developing prostate cancer. The working theory, the thinking goes, is that regular ejaculation essentially helps flush out potentially harmful substances and secretions that can build up in the prostate ducts over time. It's a natural cleansing mechanism. Third, it helps strengthen the pelvic floor muscles. You know those rhythmic contractions that happen during orgasm? Well, they actively engage key pelvic floor muscles like the pubococcygeus muscle. Having a strong pelvic floor is absolutely vital, honestly, for good erectile function, better control over ejaculation, and crucially, for helping prevent urinary incontinence, which is, let's face it, a pretty common and bothersome issue for a lot of aging men. Fourth, it works wonders on reducing stress hormones like cortisol. In our crazy high-stress world, this feels like an incredible built-in benefit, doesn't it? Research has pretty solidly shown that reaching orgasm leads to a significant, noticeable drop in those cortisol levels circulating in your body. Lower cortisol is directly linked to helping regulate blood pressure and dialing down anxiety, making masturbation a surprisingly natural tool for supporting both your cardiovascular health and your mental well-being. Fifth, it releases this amazing cocktail of feel-good neurochemicals right into your system. Orgasm literally floods the brain with dopamine, that's the motivation and pure pleasure molecule, and oxytocin, often called the bonding or cuddle hormone. This natural, potent mood booster provides a genuine sense of overall well-being and emotional connection, which is just invaluable for maintaining good mental health, especially as we navigate later life. Sixth, it actually aids in the self-detection of physical issues. The regular practice of self-pleasure makes you intimately familiar with your own anatomy, how things normally feel. This ongoing, consistent self-examination is actually one of the most effective ways men discover early signs of potential problems. Things like testicular cancer, penile fibrosis, or other subtle anomalies that might otherwise go unnoticed for far too long. It's like knowing your own landscape. Seventh, it genuinely improves sleep quality after orgasm happens. The powerful release of hormones like oxytocin and prolactin, combined with that welcome reduction in cortisol we mentioned earlier, creates a really powerful sedative effect. This helps your whole body relax deeply, making it significantly easier to fall into that restorative deep sleep. Something that, let's be honest, often becomes much more challenging to achieve consistently as we age. Eighth, it enhances overall pelvic blood circulation. Beyond just the penis itself, Masturbation actually improves blood flow throughout the entire pelvic region. This is demonstrably beneficial for the health of your bladder, your prostate, and all the surrounding musculature, helping prevent issues that can arise from stagnation and generally poor circulation down there. Ninth, it can actually serve as a really useful training method for guys who struggle with premature ejaculation. Masturbation provides a safe, completely private space to practice specific techniques, like the well-known start-stop method. This allows you to better understand your body's unique signals and build greater conscious control over your responses, skills that can then translate directly to more satisfying partnered sex. And 10th, it keeps your sexual desire and those crucial neural pathways actively engaged. Remember, the brain is arguably the largest sex organ we have. By regularly engaging in sexual fantasy and physical stimulation, you're essentially keeping the neural circuits associated with desire and arousal firing properly. This helps maintain a healthier libido and sustained sexual responsiveness, which is so important even if, or perhaps especially if, you don't currently have a regular partner. But look, to get a truly complete and balanced picture, we absolutely cannot just focus on the positives. That wouldn't be responsible. A truly healthy practice, after all, is a conscious practice. So now, let's shift gears and talk honestly about the 10 potential risks or negative effects that you really do need to watch out for and be mindful of. The first risk involves social isolation creeping in. This becomes a genuine problem when self-pleasure stops being just a healthy part of your sexual life and instead morphs into a complete substitute for real, meaningful human connection. The solution here boils down to self-awareness. You need to ensure this practice is complementing your life and enriching it, not becoming an excuse to gradually withdraw from social interactions and intimacy. Second is the risk of causing tiny skin microlesions. This typically happens when masturbation is performed a bit too aggressively or, more commonly, without using adequate lubrication. These little tears, though small, can cause noticeable irritation, inflammation, and can unfortunately become a potential gateway for infection. The fix, thankfully, is quite simple. Always be gentle with yourself and make a point to use a quality water-based lubricant. It makes a world of difference. Third is the potential for desensitization, physically speaking. If you consistently stimulate yourself in the exact same way, with the same exact pressure and rhythm, every single time, your brain can actually become conditioned to respond only to that very specific type of touch. This conditioning can then make it surprisingly difficult to achieve arousal or orgasm with a partner whose touch is naturally different. The key here is variation. Consciously mix up your technique, your rhythm, and the focus of your touch. Fourth, it can sometimes mask the underlying causes of erectile dysfunction. If you find you can reliably achieve an erection during masturbation, but consistently struggle when you're with a partner, it might be tempting to just ignore the issue or blame it on nerves. However, this discrepancy can actually mask serious underlying health problems that need attention, like cardiovascular disease, diabetes, or significant hormonal imbalances. If you notice this pattern happening, it's absolutely essential to go see your doctor and get checked out. And speaking of underlying causes, I really need to pause here for a moment because this point is critically important. While this explanation gives you the what behind these issues, I genuinely want to share a resource that delves into the why and offers a powerful, natural solution approach. It's a video presentation I firmly believe is essential viewing for any man who's seriously concerned about his sexual health. It reveals a surprisingly simple, even somewhat bizarre, 7-second home remedy developed specifically to address what emerging science suggests is the real root cause behind many common male performance problems. This isn't about just masking symptoms with quick fixes. It's focused on a 100% natural approach aimed at helping restore more youthful hardness and stamina. I strongly urge you to take a look at it when you can. Just point your phone's camera at the QR code you'll see on your screen right now to open the video directly. I've also put a direct link to it in the pinned comment below this video for easy access. Go ahead and open that link in a new tab so you can watch it right after we're done here. It could be really valuable. Okay, now that you know about that resource, it's crucial we cover the remaining risks you definitely need to be aware of to stay informed. The fifth risk involves possible nerve compression stemming from poor posture during the act. Many men tend to masturbate while sitting hunched over in a hard chair or in an awkward position, which can inadvertently compress the pudendal nerve running through the pelvis. Over time, this compression can potentially lead to feelings of genital numbness or persistent pelvic pain. The ideal solution is to practice in a relaxed, comfortable position, like lying down with proper back and neck support. Sixth, it can become an unhealthy emotional escape mechanism if you're not careful. Using masturbation as your only primary tool to cope with stress, boredom, loneliness, or frustration can unfortunately create a kind of behavioral dependency. It's really crucial, for your overall well-being, to cultivate a diverse toolkit for managing your emotions effectively. Things like regular exercise, meditation, hobbies, and importantly, talking things through with friends, family, or a professional. Seventh is the persistent feeling of guilt or shame that some men carry. Many guys were raised with powerful cultural or religious taboos strongly discouraging self-pleasure. If these negative feelings persist and cause you significant distress or anxiety, it can be incredibly beneficial, honestly liberating, to speak with a sex-positive therapist or counselor. They can help you reframe this natural, normal practice in a much healthier, more positive light. Eighth is the possibility of pelvic congestion, though it's less common. While infrequent ejaculation is a known risk factor for prostate issues, excessively frequent ejaculation, we're talking multiple times a day over a very long period, can sometimes lead to a persistent feeling of heaviness, aching, or discomfort in the testicles and pelvic area. The solution here is mainly about moderation and truly listening to your body's own signals. Don't push it if it feels off. Ninth is a potential, though temporary, impact on semen quality. Now, this is really only a practical concern if you and a partner are actively trying to conceive. While frequent masturbation absolutely doesn't harm your long-term fertility potential, ejaculating daily can temporarily reduce sperm concentration in each ejaculate. For optimal sperm quality if conception is the goal, studies generally suggest an abstinence period of about 2 to 5 days tends to yield the best results. And 10th, perhaps more subtle, is a potential disconnection from reality, often linked closely to heavy pornography use. If masturbation becomes heavily reliant on watching extreme or highly unrealistic pornography, it can subtly skew your expectations about sex and intimacy, potentially making it more difficult to connect authentically with a real-life partner. The key here is balance. Try to balance any visual aids you might use with your own imagination, fantasies, and memories of real, effective, intimate experiences. So, as you can hopefully see now, masturbation after 60 isn't simply a matter of being all good or all bad. It really is more like a tool. And like any tool, how you choose to use it ultimately determines its effect on your life. The secret ingredient, the absolute key, is always consciousness and mindful awareness. Practice thoughtfully, with respect for your body, and with sensible moderation, it can genuinely be a powerful and marvelous ally for supporting your overall health, well-being, and vitality as you navigate these later chapters. I truly hope this open conversation was helpful for you. I'd genuinely like to know what you're thinking after hearing all this. What was the most surprising point for you today? Something you maybe hadn't considered before? Please feel free to leave a comment below sharing your thoughts. Let's keep this important discussion going together. And hey, if you found some real value in this video, please consider giving it a like. It really helps, and subscribing for more straightforward, well-researched advice focused on mature health topics. Don't forget to hit that notification bell too, so you won't miss our next conversation. Take good care of yourself, stay healthy, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.